Welcome back to On the Chain. Today feels different, Chip. XRP trying to break out, maybe reverse breakout. We're going to get into this anyways. Regulation is no longer something that's being debated. It's actually being stress tested in real time. They're really trying to push some regulation. Well, at least they're discussing the regulations. They're talking about it in Congress. Things are going around globally. But what we're watching right now looks a lot like the early stages of a global financial reset.
Exactly. And power structures are shifting, markets are responding, and the rules of the game are being forced into the open. XRP isn't really moving in isolation, though. It's really moving because of clarity, structure, real utility are basically colliding with systems that were really never designed for transparency.
And ain't that the truth? We're
Hey,
seeing that play out on a global scale as the cabal, so to speak, is fighting back, trying to maintain their power because they don't like transparency. And that is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're getting into the geopolitics, we're getting into the crypto. Unlike the other YouTube fanboy channels out there that give you hype and FOMO and 589 and 1,000 end of year, we're going to talk about what's real. We're going to talk about what's noise because there's way too much of it out there. And we're also going to talk about why this moment right now, right here, really matters.
absolutely. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody, to On the Chain. You know, they love the centralization. Anything they can control, anything they can put their finger on, any narrative they can spin up. And
That's right.
you know, it was funny. I was at an event yesterday, and it was really mostly focused on AI, but there's also a lot of course, everybody there is in the blockchain, so that came up numerous times. And one of the things that I kind of takeaways I got were, you know, the whole idea of moving away from centralization. You know, in some respects, too, the way the AI will be able to transform trading, making, because right now you have an algorithm and it's you tweak it and it does something where AI can do it on the fly. It can sort of start adjusting. And what's interesting is that if you take some of the big models out there, if you look at ChatGPT, you look at Anthropic, you look at Claude, you look at Grok. Grok to this date is returning 8 to 12% as a trading bot. People that have been leveraging it about what to buy, prompts are pretty long and what you have to figure out. It's not like, hey, Grok, tell me what to buy. It doesn't work like that. Garbage in, garbage out, but you have to be able to. And it's been producing, you know, 8 to 12% returns, way above any of the other ones. So when I think about AI, I think about blockchain, you think about the whole idea of decentralization, you think about the global footprint of the entire human race living on a planet that really want the basics. They want the government off their back. They want to be able to invest their money where they want to invest their money. They want to be able to build wealth, you know, and they look out for the families, and they just want to just do their thing. And we just have these governments. The EU is imploding in real time, Jeff. It's just insane to watch what's happening over there. This von der Leyen, whatever her name is, she's not even elected. Who is she to be going over cutting deals? Imagine that you give up your sovereignty to some nut job like that, who's cutting deals with India that are going to import, you know, yet more, you know, bring more, you know, foreigners into your country. And it's not that I'm against that. Indians are very well, you know, trained, and they're classically trained. They're great coders. They do a lot of things very well. But the whole point is that you're just going to cease being countries. Like nobody in India is thinking about importing, you know, Europeans. They're not thinking about how can we bring more Europeans here? Like, why don't we have more Europeans in Mumbai and some of the tech hubs? Like, you know what's missing from here? Europeans. You know what's missing from here? Americans. Like, no, they're not thinking about it. They're thinking about their country, their culture. There's like 50 some languages spoken in India. You got Hindi, which is one of them, but each region has their own language. It's a lot to unpack. People think, oh, they don't all speak the same language. I mean, most speak Hindi, not all, but depends where you're at. But why do we have to transform countries, their culture, their language, their borders? Like, what are we getting out of that? Like, where's the value in doing that? Now, it's great to have trade agreements. They used to have 110% tariffs on their cars and vehicles, and they kind of removed that. But the picture I'm thinking about tying this all into is the fact that as countries will do, and as the EU will do these things, the people, whether you're in India, which is a massive, an incredible population of people that understand digital assets and invest. This is the one thing that brings us all together, and the governments will do what they'll do, but the people ultimately just want to thrive, Jeff.
People globally want the same thing. I like that. They want to thrive. People want freedoms. Not everywhere are they willing to fight for freedom. Not everywhere are they
True.
tweaked, for freedom. They're not built for it. It's just innate, not just in their culture, but somehow in the IQ structure of their history. It just isn't something, when you have a lot of tribalism, it's hard for them to break out of culture of that mindset. India, though, it's such an interesting dynamic because there's so much entrepreneurship built into the Indian culture. And if you see families that have come out of India and they come to this country, not saying everybody, but typically education is highly favored within the family structure. A lot of times they're pushing towards medicine or entrepreneurship, business ownership. They want their kids to be more educated and more well off than they were. So parents will sacrifice everything to see that. Uh, and that's a really good thing. A lot of businesses that are owned by immigrants that came in from India. And I like that. I think that that's what built this country. On the other side of it is the leftist ideology that wants to import people in mass numbers to displace all the good things in the country, specifically to maintain a voting block and to destabilize Western ideology because they know there's a tipping point. You can only take in so much without assimilation, and the countries themselves and the communities can only handle so much incoming before you can't handle it anymore. And that's what we're starting to see. So one of the things that you highlight is from a cultural perspective, why not build up the countries these people are coming from? What is so bad about helping the Indian civilization, India as a whole, because there's huge amounts of money there. I've been to India multiple times. There's a lot of poverty and there's a lot of money. And there's a growing middle class. If you go to different areas, people would always say there's wealthy and there's poor. That's bullshit because there's a middle class. Mexico, go to Mexico, same thing, right? We're sold a bill of goods by the left in this country to believe that it's either ultra wealthy or ultra poor, and it's our responsibility to somehow bring in the poor into our country. Well, why aren't those countries responsible for their own poverty? What are they doing to build up productivity on a larger scale? And this is what we need to see. We can't mass import people into this country to somehow think that that's going to fix it, especially when these people are not coming here or Europe or wherever they're going for the betterment of society. They're going there, to rely on handout and basically to be subservient to some political class that wants to manipulate and use them. And that's a bad thing, which is exactly why we need full transparency, which is exactly why crypto and stable coins and blockchain is so vital at this moment in time, is because of the battle that's being waged on a much bigger scale. That we saw this start back in 2016, and this quote unquote cabal, which is trying to hold on to their power stranglehold on civilization at large, and now it's being challenged, right? Yeah, they're definitely being challenged. Trump is the tip of the spear, and this is why they tried to stop him in 16. This is why they cheated in 20. This is why the media is so against him. This is why the Europeans are terrified. This is why the UN is about to shut down. there's just so much going on,
So much winning.
and there's so much winning. It's massive winning, but they're still trying to mass import people on a broad scale. It's going to destroy Europe. I don't see how Europe comes back from this. It's completely backwards at this point.
That's right. Where we go
Yeah.
one, we go all. If you know, if you
Breakdown.
know, you know. Let's put it that way. But I like this comment by Alexander the Base, who says, people who want to assimilate also preserves culture. You don't let people in who want to change the culture, keep them where they are. And I agree with that. But the problem is, like, how do you know? And I will say that, I've sponsored H-1B visas before. I've got great talent in tech talent. And so what you're hearing here is not that I don't want to do more of that. I think what I'm saying is that it gets to be to a point of where you got to have to look out after the country when it starts losing its culture, it starts losing its language and borders, and then you don't have a country anymore. So you really have to think about, what does that mean to the old, and one of my, two of the, influential people in my life are both Indian, from India. And that's why this is not anything against India. I think India is an amazing country. I love when they kind of come and bring their culture, but just right. The entrepreneurial spirit that Indians have is second to none. They come here, they build businesses. They don't rely on the government. They come here, they're very proud, and they want to make something for themselves, make something for families. And I'll tell you, the Indians that I know, man, they've crushed it, right? I don't care what they've done, what kind of business, whether it's been tech, whether it's been opening a corner store, they just crush it. Even the down the street, it's owned by, the local business owned by the Indians, nicest people ever. It's not an indictment on India. It's what I'm talking about is, at some point you gotta think to yourself, how come other countries aren't doing this? How come other countries aren't bringing in, great tech people to work in some of the tech hotspots? There's some people there, but it's like, when you think about Europe and how it's basically gonna be a race. I really don't see Europe functioning the way we think. You'll have pockets. You'll have, like, Poland will be there, Hungary. You might have some of the Baltic, countries potentially, but I just see them giving up. I see the countries gave up their sovereignty in 2000 when they became the EU. We're 26 years into this experiment, and it's not going well. And I know they tried to. It made sense originally. They go like, well, you can do free travel and you can move. We'll have one currency, but the part that doesn't work is the centralized person, von der Leyen, who's making all. Who is she to be going around making this stuff, Jeff?
Right.
I don't get it. It's crazy talk.
Self-anointed.
Self-anointed. Yeah, I'm the self-anointed queen of the EU, and even the European Central Bank is just fraught with just issues. The whole thing is burning to the ground. And the funny thing is, I've seen so many videos on my feed of people from the UK criticizing everything about the US. I don't like the US. The World Cup's coming up. I'm not going there. We don't want to be in the World Cup. Great, because I can actually purchase tickets in my own country.
Yep.
So that I'm happy if you don't come, and I don't care, really, quite honestly. But to me, I never miss the World Cup. It's a big event every 4 years. It's fantastic to see it coming up. Yeah. But just the criticism, Donald Trump, I'm like, your country is gone. You are a waste of energy and human flesh. Your country's being ripped out from underneath you. But Donald Trump is Orange Man bad. I mean, really? What are you speaking out in your country? You're not saying anything. Meanwhile, you're getting rolled big time. I mean, totally rolled, and it's pathetic, man.
It's horrible. It's horrible to see, and they're going along with it. I don't know what happened overall, to the British spirit. I guess they don't have it. They're not willing to fight back.
There's a lot of people that are, but it's just it's a very small minority.
Not on this, right? It's not on the scale they need to at this point. But their political structure is also stacked up against them. This parliamentary government. I don't know how they end up with some leftist nut. I don't know how they have Islamists that are controlling most of their cities. I don't know how they've given up their sovereignty so quickly. It's amazing. They're like the French.
Woke culture, Jeff. Woke culture. What started back in the late 80s, this whole politically correct, which was another way to say woke. It's the same bullshit repackaged and rewrapped, and And a lot of it had to do with the feminist movement. A lot of women moved into government, and they just want everybody has to be the same. We all have to give everybody a chance. And meanwhile, the fear, you bring people in your country and you fear being called a racist. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what color your skin is. You break the laws, you're going to prison, you're getting expelled. That's it. Forget about racism. Who cares? I mean, break the laws. If you're white, black, who cares? And this whole thing of I just wanted to, I wanted to say this. So I did a space the other night, talked about Darren Moore. His name is Moore. Probably missed the E there. And I had the chance to meet Darren, and Darren and I would talk pretty regularly. So I'm pretty bummed out that he passed away the other day. I still don't have details on how it happened, but I got the news pretty early, and it was pretty much a bummer.
Said he suffered with colitis.
Colitis, yeah. His dad came in and said, but I mean, I don't know the details around it, but his dad came in on one of Moon Chaser's posts, and then I posted on that. But did he suffer from colitis? He had a second operation. It was botched. He was in Costa Rica. And I don't know what happened, but I mean, I don't know like the details that led up to that, but it had to be with a botched surgery, which is what happened. And Darren and I talked pretty regularly. We had some pretty intense conversations. As you know, we were pretty politically aligned, although there were times where we disagreed. You can go back and see how I disagree with him on some posts, but I thought he was a brilliant guy, especially how the amount of knowledge he had around the not only the blockchain space, but political space, the financial space. He was very good. And when in December, when his crypto got stolen, he was like, I don't know what I did, what I clicked on, what happened. But all his crypto was on a cold storage wallet and it got ripped. And there's not too many people out there that would, you'd be pretty embarrassed if that happened. But he was the kind of guy who said, I got to help people. And he did a whole video, half-hour video on what happened, how it happened. And he wanted to help people from them not having to go through the same thing. Being that transparent takes a big person, and I'll miss our conversations. He was a good dude. And I had a chance to meet him. Rob, who he's not in here now, but Rob comes into the show and he's a big fan of the show. But he held a pre-party at the over at the the proper party, which was a little over 2 years ago in September.
It's a proper
and Jeremy Hogan posted a very nice tribute to him, and I said that's a beautiful tribute, Jeremy. I mean, great. Darren was a cool dude, and that's where I got to sit down with him and hang out at the table and drink a beer with him, and just he battled some other demons too. But he was a fighter. And, so what's going to happen as a result of that is his daughter, he had just gone through a divorce, and his ex has been in contact with some of us in the community. They're going to set up an escrow account for his daughter. So
that's great.
Everybody will get a chance to basically, contribute to it. So as I have more details, I would hope, look, every little bit helps, but if everybody can maybe donate a little XRP, it's going to be for his daughter. So that she has something, when a little bit later, and hopefully,
nice
see it moon. And only because he got all his crypto basically ripped out, and so that's one of the things we're doing. So when I have more details on that, I'll share that with the community. I'll share it on
great.
But yeah, he had brains, and he was one of those guys that I really respected. The fact that he was so at a different level when you think about people in this space. And even when I sat down with him, meeting him in person, he's just was an intellectual. He was a very good dude, a funny guy too. Funny guy, kind of soft spoken in some regards, but he did have a pretty good sense of humor as well. So I will say that, so it's really sad that happens. We're gonna lose people, man. It's sad, but we're not living forever. There'll be a time if Jeff and I are still doing the show, one of us won't be here. It's we're forever, man.
We're gonna try to live forever.
Shit happens, dude. I mean, you just you walk across the street and boom, you get taken out. You just never know, man. It's like there's nothing guaranteed about life, and unfortunately, I've lost good friends. Jeff's lost good friends along the way. It's pretty sad when you have like people that you knew influential in your life, somebody you call a really solid friend, and then they go way too young. And the case of me, as I had a good friend who was just had a heart of gold, and on New Year's Eve, he went out to go. He was a social worker, and he went to be with somebody that was going to pass and didn't have family. When he came out after midnight and not spending it with his fiance, got carjacked. The guy drove the car, and then he came back while he was laying on the ground because he assaulted him, like hit him, and they just basically shot him in the head. And that's just a horrible way to go, man. Luckily, it was all caught on camera. They got the guy the very next morning. They got him hours later, they knew who it exactly was. It was a camera on a auto parts store that picked everything up. But the fact that the guy came back after he already took the car while he was laying there, and the first time the gun did misfire, and then he shot him. I don't know why, buddy. I don't know if he was just incapacitated, but he didn't. They said there was no struggle. He didn't fight back, but I think he might have just hit his head when he went to the ground, because he was on the ground.
Yep.
And so look, that's going to happen, man. So a lot of love to Darren Moore and his family. And once we get some more details, I would hope that everybody in this community could pitch in. And even if you give a few XRP, if enough of us, if 75,000 of us were willing to support Deaton, if everybody gave 1 XRP in that community, you'd have 75,000 XRP for his daughter. So
that'd be awesome.
I hope we can just, we can rally together.
Imagine we give, like, if that, I would love to see that, happen. I would love to see that volume of people. They probably won't be that volume, but imagine that we can get that kind of action out of the XRP community. It's doable. We've seen it happen, like you said, with John Deaton was able to pull together. There hasn't been anything else like it.
No.
Most of the XRP community seem to like pull back into their shell and hide. You get engagement on the different crypto channels, but that's it. Where are the other people? Where is everybody? They were willing to come out for that, come out, support people, support projects too, but let's come out and support, when people have a difficult time like that, and support the family. And, it's that'll say a ton about this community. Really different. I agree with that. The XRP Army is at a different level than any other digital asset community coming together to support it. It is true. That's the one thing. It's like you see a lot from a human perspective. The people that have come together for this XRP, support, or the XRP Army and the XRP community, is definitely different than it's interesting. It really is interesting. The friendships that have been developed over these years. Chip, think about, how it brought us together. It's brought so many people that we've met over the course together. I think it's really, amazing. People all over the world that you really get to engage with and share a passion with, and a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like so many people wrote some really great things about him. I was trying to just find them here and see if I was trying to find Jeremy Hogan's post, but for some reason, when you're looking for it, let me see. And then it was the same day that I met Jeremy Hogan as well. I'm going to put in, he wrote a beautiful tribute there. He posted a little video. I'm going to go ahead and let me show you the video first here. Fortunately, I got to stop everything and hit and share screen and the whole audio thing, Jeff, and it's just the main pain in the ass. God almighty, what the hell? Here we go. Okay, so he had Darren had Jeremy Hogan on here. See here, tell me if you hear sound
Everyone,
here.
Today,
hear sound?
Yep.
Okay, so here's Darren right here.
we have Jeremy Hogan, none other than Jeremy Hogan. How are you tonight, Jeremy?
I am doing excellent. I'm in Vegas and I'm not drunk. So there we are.
Well, I appreciate you coming on to my show and discussing everything that has happened. Everyone, today we have Jeremy Hogan, none other
than that one right there. And then so he posted this. You want to take that, Jeff? My throat's a little bit sore today.
I'd like to pay my respects to Fame 21 Moore. That's Darren Moore, who we lost yesterday. I spoke with Darren many times over the last couple of years about XRP, crypto, and life in general. He was the ultimate gentleman and scholar. What exemplifies Darren more than anything, I think, is when his crypto got hacked a couple of months ago and he lost almost everything. That was pretty, gut-wrenching. His first instinct was to post about it, about how it happened, so that no one else would make the same mistake. That was his nature. And that was, I remember going through all of that. Darren had great enthusiasm for privacy and liberty. He educated people, including me, and this is Jeremy Hogan. We're reading a statement from him about privacy, DeFi, and above all, liberty. He never wavered from those ideals for a quick buck, and he had many opportunities. He brought a lot of people into the space with his well-researched videos and commentary. The XRP and the crypto community really lost a good one yesterday. Rip Darren Moore, and thank you, sir.
Rest in peace, my man. Yeah, and then too, it's great to see some other tributes pouring into Ellie Tarrant. Also, if you want to take this one too, Jeff, she also put this one up. Hang on a second, I had to. Stop sharing. They even changed that, Jeff. Now it's an X. It's not a stop sharing thing. They just never cease to amaze me, all the things that they add here. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Go ahead and take that.
Visual Vendetta, yet. He passed away 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of days ago, unfortunately. Yeah. We lost Darren Moore, yeah.
So
yeah, it was a botched surgery. His dad kind of came in and posted on Moonchaser's post thanking her in the community for all the accolades, but apparently it was something related to colitis. He had a second surgery. It was botched, and he was in Costa Rica when he passed away. So
yep. So Eleanor Tarrant said Darren Moore, aka Fame 21 Moore, was an incredibly kind and generous person. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the XRP Las Vegas in 23, and this was my last correspondence with him at the end of last year. We had planned to chat more in 26, and I'm heartbroken we won't get that chance now. Rest in peace, my friend. And here's from Crypto Darren. You had written, "Hey, L, you're doing a wonderful job with Crypto America. Just watching it. I learned a lot from you. I remember when you were on my show, you had questions that I wish I had. Do you have any suggestions for me to get better books, videos, etc.?" That was really nice. It's great to see that kind of engagement. And there she is. So what a community. Just people coming together, and man, and that's how it is. Just how it is. But
yeah,
right.
And he went on to say, "Thank you, kind to you. Sure, you want to get better in terms of asking better questions or just broadening your knowledge?" He said, "Oh, you have a ton of skill. Questions would be good, but how you get people on your show? What do you do when you have downtime? Everything you're willing to teach. I can shed my ego and be taught by the master. And I know you're a busy person, so am I. But if you want to set up a Zoom call, so that's just really cool, man.
I'm not sure how old he was. Visual Vendetta is saying he doesn't think he was even 30. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he was in his 30s. I know it's funny. I could probably go through some more conversations and DMs and stuff, but I'm not really sure how old he was. I don't think he was 40 though. I don't think he was. I think he might have been in his 30s, but I'm not 100% sure how old he was. Something that never came up. But
Charles said Darren was an OG. Definitely kept it real.
Yeah, 100%. Good dude.
That within the community. But let's move on to some topics here on.
Yeah, let's go to. But anyway, shout out to Darren Moore. Hope he's in a better place and all this stuff. So good. All right, let's jump into some Ripple stuff going on here. Just some things and the happenings that are going down. Saw some things that caught our eyes. So we were talking about the Senate committee. Jeff brought this up at the beginning, at the top of the show, but John Boozman, under his leadership, the Senate AG committee advanced the crypto market structure legislation. Big move for consumer protection and innovation. And then the John Boozman's quote here is that this is a critical step towards creating clear rules for digital asset markets. Advancing this bill brings us closer to U.S. regulatory framework that protects consumers while allowing American innovation and businesses to thrive. There's still more work ahead, but I'm proud to lead this important effort and hopeful that this will build momentum in the Senate to advance this legislation. And so this committee here, how it works in the United States is that a bill will go before a committee, and sometimes it'll be there, but it never gets a committee vote. In this case, it got a committee vote. And the sad part about it that really kind of, I'm trying to find some positive way to look at this, but it was along party lines. It was basically 11. It was one more vote by the Republicans. So like 11 Republicans and 10 no's from the Democrats. And it's like, why is this a partisan issue? Market structure bill, rules for crypto. Like it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of times the other side, when you have the Trump administration, but Biden administration, the other side doesn't want the other whoever's in, running the government to get a win. We don't want them to get a win. But these kind of things, when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's against the American people that have been waiting for legislation since Satoshi first came on the scene, and all the harm and things that have come to projects that got shut down just because of wonky, thinly, going back to the 32, 33, bill, and then 1947, I mean, this kind of stuff is just ridiculous. And so when I think about that, Jeff, it's just like, how are we not moving forward with the legislation that benefits everyone? Now, I could honestly see if like 4 or 5 Democrats voted for it, maybe 4 or 5 didn't. Okay. But to be totally split on party lines for a bill that explains how crypto will work and provides rules, I don't understand it, man. It's a hard one to fathom. But again, it's like, the left doesn't want this anti-crypto label, but they keep earning it every single chance they get. It's just unbelievable to me.
Belongs to them.
Take this one, Jeff. This is Garlinghouse basically commenting on that last post there.
So, yeah, and this is, I think, really important. He's referencing the banking committee. So here you have Brad Garlinghouse. The last couple of weeks have been an absolute firestorm of action to get the market structure bill passed. And there's so many bills that have been this past session that have been put in front of Congress and the Senate now. While banking GOP clears its logjam, thank you, Senator Tim Scott. Congrats are in order to Senate AG GOP and Chairman John Boozman for advancing the Senate Agricultural Committee's market structure bill out of committee. So if it goes to committee, it can die in committee also. And we've seen that happen with some of this crypto legislation. Gets there, no discussion, no commentary, and that's it. And it stops there. So in this case, it's got to get out of committee before it gets in front of Senate for them to have a bigger, broader vote. So here we see get out of the market structure bill comes out of the Agricultural Committee. Big positive. Brad Garlinghouse goes on. He says, as I've seen before, clarity is better than chaos. And obviously, guys, we've lived in chaos for many years, and it was all by design because purposefully the SEC decided to take actions that were very destabilizing to crypto, as we all are pretty well aware. Now, Brad Garlinghouse goes on here. The legislative process can be messy and complex, but it's 100% necessary to have clarity for this and future generations of crypto entrepreneurs, builders, and users as this technology becomes increasingly ingrained into our global financial infrastructure. Chip, one of the things that I point out, there are the generations of crypto holders and builders and developers. I think Brad Garlinghouse is definitely onto something with all of that. So much is needed. Chip, I think you and I kind of share a very, clear thought process with Brad Garlinghouse, who has come out as seemingly very conservative as well. But the point is that you need to have regulatory clarity in order for this space to really build.
Yeah, 100%. And we've been critical at times. Look, we're not going to be sycophants. We're going to call out stuff we see. People say like, "Oh, you're just a Trump sycophant." I'm like, listen, there's plenty of things that I don't like, and I haven't been shy about sharing the opinion on it. I've absolutely said things that I don't think is a good move, a good look. The latest one is this whole arresting a journalist who was not journaling, who was not doing journalist type work, but Don Lemon, arresting him, it's not optically, it's not a good look. And it's really unnecessary, quite honestly. And you can't have tit for tat where you say like, well, there's a grandma serving 10 years in prison because she was praying outside an abortion clinic. It's not tit for tat. It's not, well, they did this and we're doing this. No. It's just, those weren't good looks either. Not, optically, just not a bad look. Somebody praying outside of an abortion clinic ends up getting, years in jail. It's just, this whole thing where we go, you did this and we're doing this, and to me, the whole thing was a farce to begin with. We'll get into it a little bit more, but I do want to bring it up. We'll cover it a little bit, but to me, optically, not a good look. Necessary, not even. Doesn't matter. It's in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter.
The left narrative is imploding. And we're seeing
100%.
it play out in real time. They arrested journalists, they arrested people just for being in DC on January 6th. They created a fictitious narrative in and around that. They perpetuated it, just like the Russia hoax. It's hoax after hoax after hoax. You can only cry wolf so many times before people call out the bullshit. It's amazing to me that they can still find this fringe element to go out and protest. But notice that the fringe element, when you see these protests now that are going after ICE, that are supporting child rapists, that are, illegal immigrants here that have committed crime after crime after crime, and we need to get them out of the country. And those are the people. But this fringe that's going out and protest, these aren't even normal people anymore. They're so far leftist fringe, but they get so much attention. The media is still behind it. The media is highlighting it, like they're legit. This whole thing, like you brought up with Don Lemon, as somehow he doesn't even understand what the First Amendment is. This is the crazy thing. They go into a church service, so they impede the rights of other people in order to proclaim their freedom of speech. What kind of bullshit nonsense is this? And there were, men, women, and children in this church service. So now these people are fearing for their lives, in this environment. We've all seen things that have unfolded. So now you have terrified congregants. They go up, and he has a conflict. Don Lemon has a direct conflict with the priest or minister. I don't the priest, and how is this even a topic of discussion from the left? How can some of the media are saying that he was there in a journalistic, even as a journalist, you don't go in. What are you documenting? And then why are you confronting people? Why are you part of this? And now the narrative has imploded on him, and anything he gets for what he did in that environment, that trespass that he committed, and putting people in fear the way he did, he needs to have the book thrown at him. This guy, he's off his rocker. And anybody on the left who's trying to come to his defense and saying it's somehow freedom of speech, they don't understand. They have no concept of what that means. And that's scary to me, that the left is going to try to fight for something that doesn't exist. And, and here we go. It's this is such an important battle right now. It's a really, really important battle that we're seeing waged. And this stuff has to surface. The big takeaway is that we need kids to start studying and learning the Constitution.
Yeah.
Educate the kids on this republic. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a public. We don't live in a parliamentary system like they do over in the EU nations. It's a different structure of government. The Europeans don't understand our format of government.
No.
Things are also meant. The reason why it takes so long to get bills passed, it was meant that way. It was built that way. It's a slow roll. It takes time, but once it goes into place, then there's court cases, and there's a lot of precedent things built in and around it. It's very, very important though what we're seeing unfold here, because the other big thing, there's what's her name, Patty something. She was arrested because she was very outspoken about the fraud and corruption in the electoral system, and so she's actually hopefully going to be let out of jail soon. All of the things and the fraud and deception from the left when it came to the 2020 election, all this stuff is now coming to fruition, that it was all true, and so we have to get the word out. The media's got to put in their place. We need more transparency across the board. We get transparency through building this whole crypto nation. We need more blockchain. We need more transparency. We need people.
100%. Yeah. I mean, the whole Tina Peters thing is horrible. She's sick and she's in jail because she spoke out. She held the line. She was trying to, she was really just trying to be a whistleblower and what she discovered, and they threw her in prison. It's like, well, whatever. And the judiciary is so tainted in this country, where they want to overrule any voter ID. Listen, this is insane. we'll jump into that. I want to get through some of these other things too. Another cool thing that's happening, that's coming up, guys. You guys are going to want to be part of this, but XRP Community Day is coming up. I will go ahead and put this in here, but you guys should at least go ahead and take a look at this, and you can, I think you can create a, there it is right there. But here it is here. You can see on February 11th and 12th of this upcoming month, XRP holders, builders, institutions, Ripple leaders are coming together across 3 live spaces to unpack how XRP is being used today and where it's headed next. Sessions will cover regulated XRP products like ETFs, ETPs, XRP innovation spotlights, wrapped XRP, new features, expanding XRP utility, and more, with speakers including Brad Garlinghouse, Monica Long, David Schwartz, and Stu Alderati from Ripple, and ecosystem partners across EMEA, the Americas, and APAC. Dive into the full blog that kind of tells you everything, which I threw in there. And then Crypto Eddie put this out here too. This is the APEC lineup, which is awesome. You have XRP, Solana, Georgiana Polazari, Hex Trust is going to be there, and it's going to be moderated by Luke Judges. So I think that's going to be a good one. I really like the content, Luke, and things he talks about. He talks a lot of AI stuff that he's doing and building. This Claude bot is a whole different thing, and I'm not getting anywhere near it. You're not taking over my computer, my bank accounts. That is not happening. DeFi, Rocks from Doppler Finance, Uphold, the Phil and Dom Kwok will be there, moderated by Moon Chaser, which is awesome. XRP Australia, Wave of Innovation Director, Crypto Queen, better known as Danella. She's going to be, and also Tatsuya Kurogi, which he's the Asian. I think is he in? Let's see where he is in Japan, or I think he's in Japan. So he's the Japan sort of like representative over there. That'll be a good one. Looking ahead with David Schwartz. David will take questions from the XRP community. So guys, you always want to ask a question. You want to attend this. I think it's going to be very well attended. It's really something that Ripple has never done before, and to do it on X, which is fantastic because it's really a platform where everybody can take part. So I have a feeling that, who knows, maybe it'll crash it. I see a lot of people, 20, 30,000 people showing up for this, maybe more. The XRP community shares perspective on XRP use cases evolve, what matters most. Remember, David is no longer with Ripple. He's the former Ripple, but he does sit on the board of Ripple. He is a board member of Ripple, but he just is not the chief tech officer anymore. And there you go, right there, XRP community. There's the APAC series. So February 11th will be EMEA and the Americas, and then on February 12th will be APAC. So they'll be scheduled for the respective time zones and all that. But I think it's an exciting thing that they're doing. I think it's fantastic that they're actually doing this, that they're putting something forward. And then another cool event coming up too. Let's talk about XRPL Japan. They basically got a new title sponsor, and they're thrilled to announce that Ripple is joining the XRP. And you see this, Jeff? These are people that I love. Yep. Why do I love these people? Because this is how it's done. When you put 4,000 things in at based monkey 267523, and I got a mouse over it every time. It's like, well, who's that? Oh, that's so and so. They look like a moron. But when you do this now, Ripple. Now the only caveat to that is I will not necessarily do it if the full name is visible. It's one of the few times I will do it. But I love people that do this. This is what I live and die by. That I put the name, and in parens, I go ahead and I put the because no one gives a rat's behind about the thing. They just want to know the person. And I don't want to have to go over, based monkey 642691234, and then like we do. It's like all this stuff. Now I know the other side of that is if you have a lot of people like in Crypto Aries tweet, you can't possibly do that and that post. There's too many people. You just can't. Yeah. But I'm saying normally, this is what I'd like to see. But Ripple's a financial technology company, offers crypto solutions. A little bit about Ripple, but this is really cool too. I would love to go to this XRPL Japan. I just really love.
When is it coming up?
It's April 7th.
Oh, it's right
around. It's happening, yeah, in Tokyo, guys. So if you want to head over to that, that's going to be great. But see what they didn't do here. And
who is that, Chip? Can you figure that out? Can you read that?
This is Teams Inc.
See that?
This is the other thing. You got to do this. And you got to do this.
And then that one's all in Japanese. So
yeah. So there you go. Teams Inc. and Japan Summit Premier Web3 Summit. I guess that's just the summit itself. I don't know, or a different summit. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Hey, it's way past the bottom of the hour.
Let's go.
We got a song here. We got a giveaway. We're going to be giving away another badass Yeti. We're giving away a Lil Prowler today. So if you guys haven't,
Lil Prowler.
That's right,
Lil
Lil
Prowler.
Lil Prowler, and there he is right there. Badass Yeti number 839. This guy is pretty badass. You can see by his look. You know what's interesting about the Lil Prowlers is that, man, you don't want to run into these guys in the woods because they're small. They look cuddly. They look cute, but man, they'll just rip your throat out. So,
jeez, Jeff, that's horrible visual there.
It's a horrible, horrible thing. But here we go. Wrote a song about it. So let me play it here.
Okay.
Here we go. Cute. It is
cute.
Look at that. Put that Crooked Eddie. Look at that.
This is cute.
Airy chain in Tokyo.
That's her other
Look at that.
YouTube.
Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
Throw it up there, Jeff. Let's see this thing. What do we have today? I'm always surprised. I sometimes get to hear it pre-show. We were a little late today, so I don't know. I get to enjoy it with you guys. So I don't.
Yeah, you haven't heard this one.
Always my first time hearing it too. So I like to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know Kaufman loved the fact that we were playing the videos. He's like, dude, he was just shocked that we do these one-off videos. So.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Hear that? Oh, too late. Small shadow moving through the pond. Bling ones, yeah, you just lost time. Laugh in the dark, little teeth go green. You run one step, probably already in. Not big, not loud, don't need that roar. Speed kills clean when it hits that floor. I stay low, heartbeat fast. Last thing you see, flash past. Tick, 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 too close. Snap, 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 oh no. Laugh track, echo in the snow. It's done. Prowlers don't hunt loud, we play games. Circle, you once whisper your name. Tripwire grin, ankle bite clean. Speed so rude, it don't feel mean. Two-face, yeah! Problem bad! Teeth go bad! No regret! You hear giggles, that's the threat! How fast? Very fast! How quiet? Too late! See him coming? Never! See him leave? No trace! Lil Prowler! Step off path, that's your choice. Lasting hurt. That laugh, that voice. Badass Yetis. Born for battle, made for legend. Badass Yetis. On the chain is on the chain. Badassery.
Damn, Jeff, that was a banger. I like that. There's a lot going on there to break down.
There's a lot going in
sound effects and kids singing and guitars and rapping. Man, that was some good work. Look at that. See, good work, boys. All the credit goes to Jeff, but I'll take credit for it. Thanks. I'll take credit for it. So it's all good. All right. So yeah, we got Yeti, guys. Type in Yeti. What's up, Jackie? Type in Yeti. Type it in. We got 5. This is horrible, guys. Type in Yeti so you have a chance to win that little Prowler. Let's go, people. Banger indeed. Longview, I did get your DM. It's just that I've been running around. I need to respond to it and we'll figure it out. But don't think I'm ignoring you. It's just I got hit up, got a lot of messages to go through. So I will answer you today.
Everybody's been commenting in about the breakout, the XRP breakout. We like putting stuff in the thumbnails and the title that would, kind of draw you in, and it's a discussion point. So breakout, it's a reverse breakout. So XRP has been
reverse breakout means
it's a breakout. It's a buy point. It's crazy stuff happening in the stock market and the crypto markets the past couple days, and unexpected, definitely unexpected. Something's up. Palantir crashed down to under 150.
Dude, I know, man.
That was
I was in at 9, so I'm good. When it crashed down to 5, I thought I need to jump on this.
Sold every little bit of everything and just put it all.
Man. I just want to punch myself in the face.
$5 was buying.
Dude, I was like, what's wrong with me? What, damn.
Especially at what, 225, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was up to, it was banging, man. It's going to be another NVIDIA. It's going to go 300, 350, 400. Not financial advice. Pure speculation by me. I'm not telling you to do anything. I don't even want you to I don't want you to buy anything. What do you say about that?
We didn't say anything about Palantir.
No, we're just
We didn't
talking
even
about,
mention Palantir.
no, nobody even said the word Palantir. Nobody even knows what Palantir means. It's just ridiculous, Jeff. I don't
Oh,
know.
dude. Come on, you shorted it. So look at that.
No, I did not
Smart,
short it.
smart move.
I would have been smart too. That would have been good too.
Man.
Yeah, that would have been something, huh, Jeff? Well, what are you going to do? Let's say, sometimes you hit it, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you win. But let's talk a little bit about this this Don Lemon thing. So Harvey Levin, who's the guy over at TMZ, jumping on his leftist horse. Jeff, what kills me is that, like, I used to teach civics in high school. Like, people knew how government functioned. The Democrats don't get it. They still don't understand. We live in a constitutional republic, which surpasses is 10 times better than a democracy. Democracy. And they'll say it's not democracy, but they won't explain why it's not democracy. Just democracy. It's not democracy. I'm like, okay, well, please let me know. It's the First Amendment. Freedom of speech has nothing to do. And first of all, if you violate the FACE Act, which, barring people from worship. Secondly, you want to know why they went into this church? Because they thought that the pastor was an ICE agent. This is mental illness, okay? Screaming and like you said, the congregation's just there to worship, and they're in their faces and they're yelling stuff and disrupting the service. Don Lemon's getting in the faces, trying to what are you interviewing a pastor for when you're sitting there doing this? Is the problem. It's like, why are you doing this? And this whole thing is like, again, optically, would it have made sense to do that? No, it just creates this weird narrative. And of course, because people aren't very smart and they don't understand, they'll say, but it's not democracy, and he's a fascist, and he's a dictator. Well, how about the dictator that allowed people that closed churches down? Remember that dictator that said you can't worship anywhere? How about the guy, Gavin Newsom, was having $1,000 meals at restaurants when everything else was closed down? Huh? What about you get the shot, or you are going to lose your job, or you can't go here, or you can't travel? What about that? And you want to talk about there's nothing that allows for that. So to me, it's like, this is an act, you violate the FACE Act, and which I can get into some details on that. But here's Harvey Levin giving his take on it, Jeff. Here we go. I want to hear your thoughts after we watch this.
Trump administration wonders why people are saying that they are trying to form a dictatorship. Well, look at the landscape. Arresting Don Lemon, who covered a protest in Minneapolis, is...
I got to stop it there. It was not a protest in Minneapolis. A protest is when you're on the street, waving signs, not brandishing guns, not looking for a fight, not assaulting ICE agents, not hitting their car. It's a protest. We're allowed to peacefully demonstrate.
Right. Yeah, you can peacefully gather. You can voice your opinion. You can do all of that peacefully, but you can't come out and attack police officers. You can't destroy property. You can't burn shit down. There's just way too much that they go way over the line, way over the line. Then you see people on the right kind of gather, and they're on the side. They'll have their handmade signs, and the left have pre-printed signs. And then how about the pallets of bricks that always appear in places? And these guys are in confrontation, impeding traffic flow, blocking traffic, banging on people's vehicles. And the one thing I learned this past week is that, with the ICE agents or law enforcement, even if you hit their car, that's not allowed. That's an infraction, right? And so what did we see with that petty guy, whatever his name was? There's video that came out of him harassing agents, right, and in their face, and then he kicked and destroyed the light on one of the vehicles, and then further got in their face and had a full confrontation with them. Lots of anger, tons and tons of anger. And so these people, and if you look at everything in a vacuum, just a little snapshot, you can try to make opinions. But this is how it stemmed with the vidiot culture. The vidiot culture. Now it's just what the tweet culture, or the limited. Now you're doing it in a little clip, or the meme culture. But the vidiot culture was, I saw it on TV. Right. And so, but now it's worse, because now they just look at one little snippet line. They don't want to look at context. and they want to make opinion, and then they're not educated. I, I find how stupid is society when you have more information in your phone than at any other point in history. You can educate yourself within moments. You can go back, you can look something up, you can even look up the Constitution. You go get an analysis of the Constitution. You can ask ChatGPT, GPT, or one of the others to analyze what the First Amendment is. Then you can go and try to do a comparative analysis and make sure that it's accurate. Then you can read it, you can listen to it, you can watch videos on it, you do all this stuff. Then you have these morons that are out there pontificating, and many of them are professionals. Many of them are professionals in this space, for media. Dumb. They're just dumb people. And obviously it's all pre-plotted narrative, but then the people that follow and then dance in the streets, most of them are anarchists, communists anyways, and they're paid shills. So there's this whole narrative, to say, oh, it's 50% of the country. That's complete bullshit. I don't believe it. This country is always has been and always will be center right. It's never been center left. It won't be center left. It's always center right. And that's where this country lives. And the rest, this notion that they definitely have pulled the Democrat Party to the left because they're silent. And their silence is complicit. So they're complicit in the extremism of this minority group of crazy people, which puts the entire, I don't care who you are at this point in the Democrat Party. I've seen like Cory Booker came out. I don't even want your support in the crypto space anymore because you're such a deranged lunatic by supporting these fringe elements in geopolitics. You're destroying our country. What good is your vote on cryptocurrency when you're destroying the country in every other way? What's that one guy that we always talk about in New York who always was coming out on the right side, and now he's been pulled back left? Like, he doesn't know where he belongs. Even Fetterman came out on something the other day supporting the wrong side on things. And normally Fetterman has been pretty center right.
Yeah, it really has. Look at this. Oh, gold. Jeff Rant. Love these. Yeah, Jeff was gold. You came in right at the right time. Yeah, man, where you been? Who you got in the Super Bowl? I want to hear who you got. The Chiefs aren't there, but let's go. Hang on a second. I wanted to put this up here. By the way, Jeff, Mark Smithson just nominated you for a Grammy for Badass of the Year.
There we go.
He said it's a little late, but he just nominated you, so I think that's really good.
Oh, by the way, current news. We had Joe Kaufman on here the other day. We were talking about the Islamists. We were talking about that group of Islamists that were going to be speaking, that were holding an event at a Coral Springs city venue. So it's a public venue, and so a city venue. They're hosting this Islamist event. These guys had direct ties to CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood and beyond, which have both been labeled domestic terrorist organizations or global terrorist organizations. So the attorneys for the city met with the Attorney General of Florida, and they said that, we talked to the group, and the group has now separated ties from CARE. But yet CARE is still on their website. So that's it. They didn't get any, still funded. They didn't check anything. They don't do anything, but yet they made that statement. So the event is still taking place today, by the way, that in Coral. So there's a whole thing going on there today between 3 and 6 out in front, and they're going to have some speeches and everything else. It's amazing to me how dumb some of these attorneys can be. Also, they're going to go and fight the cause, but they don't even look into it. Again, do some research. You're just going to take them at face value that they have an entire history of supporting terrorist entity. And now all of a sudden, when they get called out to the mat, we disavow our affiliation with them. But who's funded you this entire time?
Well, that's what you have to do. You have to look behind. You got to look underneath the hood and find out where that money trail is going for. So I was talking about the Super Bowl here, and where's the image? Where is it? What did I do? I don't know where it went. Can a Super Bowl end in a tie? It cannot end in a tie, but wouldn't that be amazing? You guys both won the Super Bowl. It's like both get trophies. I only have one trophy, so no. I mean, no, it can be tied. It can be tied at the end of the game, but it's weird. It's like somebody has to win. But I don't know. I mean, usually it's going to happen in that extra time where in baseball, my God, it can go 11, 12, 13, 15, whatever, how many innings it takes to get a winner, where generally you kick a field goal and it usually is enough. But I have to say that I'm actually pulling for, I mean, Sam Darnold has an amazing story. I'm pulling for the Seahawks just because Sam Darnold's been kicked around like discarded. I mean, the Jets drafted him. They almost ruined his career. Then he went to a couple other teams. Then he got cut last year, saying you're not good enough to be our quarterback. He got cut and he got picked up by Seattle, and boom, here he is at a Super Bowl. I don't know if people want to say Drake May. It's like the Drake May to me is just, he'll probably grow into a really good quarterback. He's just very overrated. And man, if I have to watch one more of his wife's videos in my feed, clogging it up. And the problem is I always click on it, and it's just I can't do them anymore. They're just, I'm sorry, you're not going to be an influencer. You're just not, it's not your thing. It's like you don't have that charisma. You're making stuff that nobody wants to eat. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I mean, God bless her. They're a good couple. I think Drake May will turn into a really amazing quarterback. But if you look at his numbers in the playoffs, they've been just dismal. You can look at somebody like Mahomes that crushed it in playoffs and just destroyed it in the playoffs. Look at someone like Mahomes from before, the Super Bowls they've been to. Look at Brady. Look at these stats that they had. And you look at like 40 yards in passing. I'm sorry, man. That's not. And you're going to the Super Bowl. It's just not a good look at all. But again, I'm going to have to root for the Seahawks. I always rooted for Brady anytime he was in it, even though they're the same division. But let's watch a little more of this, Jeff. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's just nauseating. But this guy, TMZ, these guys talk about Taylor Swift and what celebrities dating who and who's doing what. And, it's just
insane, ridiculous.
And here's the other thing about this. Harvey Levins, he's an attorney. So he should know better, Jeff. He should.
Dictator-like. This is.
I love when you say it's dictator-like, it's dictator. What kind of moves can this happen that if it's not cited under U.S. code, right? If they're not, nobody gets thrown in prison without citing something. So where's the dictatorship? Dictators don't pay attention to laws. They change the laws. They put people in prison because they felt like it. That is not the case here.
The playbook that dictators use to destroy democracies and take the will of the people away. It is as
How is he taking the will of the people away?
simple as that. The First Amendment is the First Amendment for a
Guy's in good
reason.
shape.
Yeah, he's jacked for an old dude. Yeah. Jeff, he says that the First Amendment, they always cite the First Amendment.
It is considered the preferred amendment when you have to start balancing what's more important. The framers of the Constitution knew that a free press was essential to a democracy. Without a free press, you don't have a democracy.
Well, free press, they're not above the law either, and they violate the FACE Act. So it's not they're not exempt from any laws. Like, we're the free press. By the way, it reminds me of the Detroit Free Press.
Whatever we want.
Here we go.
Another, yeah.
So this is the one worth listening to. So they brought Patrick Bet David to get his take on this whole thing.
Why don't we start with your take? Legit arrest or not?
You see, this is concerning to me because we need Don Lemons out there. We don't need to arrest Don Lemons. We need the opposing ideas. And you guys know Don and I are probably not on the same side politically. But then the other side of it is, if you think about, we set the precedent that if you want to protest outside, and I watched a lot of this stuff closely at the beginning, it was like maybe Don's just asking a guy questions. And then the clips came out that he was talking to the protesters outside. And then at the end of the clip said, turn it off. I don't want it to be in the camera. And then he said, I never talked to the protesters. I didn't even know what they were doing. He got himself in trouble with this. He should have never done this. He could have just waited for the pastor to come out.
I have covered everything. If I were to cover that protest, my news director said, go cover it, and I didn't go in the church to cover it, I think I would be fired.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Harvey. You've been around the block for a while. Who else, what person at his size, at his level of a name and credibility has done this? Who's done this before?
Everybody.
That has gone
Everybody.
To go into a church?
I have. By the way, I have. First AME Church. I did that.
Okay, so for us, if you look at this and say the following, flip it. So now imagine all of a sudden they say nothing. So this means I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber, citizen journalist. Guess what, guys? The government does nothing. Go in the middle of Joel Osteen protests. Go in the middle of Islam. Go in the middle of House of Prayer. Go in the middle. Create ruckus. Videos are getting viral. We're getting hundreds of thousands of viewership, subscribers, dollars. Is that a good idea?
Yes.
You know what
Well,
that
yes.
does?
But hold
It's
on, hold on.
chaotic
hold
if
on.
they
But
do.
Patrick,
Yes.
we're talking about two
It's
different things.
chaotic.
No,
Thinking
I
Patrick,
don't think we are, though.
No, what you just said about
They're wrong.
people going in and disturbing a church service. That's a
This is what you always get on the left too. You see how worked up he is? He's about ready to have
Yeah.
a breakdown. They always get worked up. People dispose me, and I'm like, okay, give a shit. The fascist behavior and dictator like. And then he flips it and says, well, what if people were going in the mosque and they were creating ruckuses and getting in the people's faces?
about the protesters, but we're talking about someone who is covering, as a journalist, the protesters. There's two separate things. We need Don Lemons. We need
them in
Georgia
the
Ford's
streets.
people
We do.
who have opposing views.
But then what's your problem with him going inside the church to chronicle what is going on?
Listen, the lawyer's going to do their jobs. This morning I had Cuomo on the podcast. He's giving the argument on both sides, and I totally get it. He's got good lawyers. The other side's going to make their own argument. We're going to see what's going to happen at the end of the day. There's going to be discovery, a lot of things coming out. I am not a fan of people getting arrested because even when the other side did it to Trump, to O'Keefe, to all these guys, I said, this thing's going to flip. This is not what we want. We don't want to be in a mode of arresting. However, if he's accused of joining the protesters, then going in to create ruckus, asking questions of the pastor in a house of prayer, in a place where people are coming into, worship, if they can make a case, because we don't have another name at his stature that's done this before, if that does, I think he's going to end up being guilty. But the likelihood of that happening is less than 5%. Don's probably not going to, nothing's going to end up happening to Don Lemon. Don's going to walk. It's less than 5-10% chance of anything happening.
You're right, but look at the Don Lemon's arrest. You have a Washington Post reporter where they got a search warrant to find out where she was getting sources from, or who were her sources. We have
That happened. People, during the Biden administration, people's computers were broken into. They were monitored. Where was he? Where was he then? No. Didn't give a shit about that, Jeff.
As soon as it's happening, as soon as their bullshit narrative is being called to the mat, this is how they act. They're a bunch of crybaby, pussies. That's what it is, And the thing is, they're anti-American. I don't care how you look at it, and I don't agree with Patrick Bet-David either. Because he says a lot of things that are a little off the wall. I used to love him, but he's been saying some things that are a little crazy lately. And so I don't always agree with everything that he says when he goes that route. And in regard to this, he's right about the infraction of going in, but the arresting of it, don't arrest him. Are you kidding? Of course he had to be arrested, because of what he did. He trespassed. And why are we even debating this? Number one, they went into a church. What right do they have to go into that church, into private property, and trespass in a church during a church service and impede on other people's rights, freedoms? That's their freedom of religion. They're free to be in their space. What right does somebody else have to impede on that? And that's what people don't understand about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech only goes so far until you start impeding somebody else's freedoms, and you want to shout at them, and you're going to block them from their own freedom. That's no longer freedom of speech. I don't care how you want to spin it. The Constitution doesn't protect you getting in someone else's face when they're minding their own business. In this situation, in their play. If you want to do it outside, protest outside on the street. Who cares? Go do that. But as soon as you walk through the threshold of the church, it changes the dynamics of it. And now the fact that Don Lemon, there's video of him helping these protesters and all the things that he said. And like you said, it's got to go to discovery. It's got to go to court. And then the facts are going to play out. I do agree with Patrick Bet-David. I don't think anything's going to happen to him in the end, though. I think they'll work it out. There'll be some sort of a settlement. He'll pay a fine, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, again, for the optics, Patrick Bet-David, I noticed him doing a lot lately, is trying to play. He opens up like, we need Don Lemon. He tries to put two sides, and then at the end, he kind of elevate his original thought rather than just holding the line and saying, this is what I think. To me, personally, the optics aren't good there. But I'll tell you what the face. So the charges Lemon is facing is violation of the Freedom Act, the clinical entrances, which is the FACE Act. That's under 18 U.S.C. 248, which prohibits using force, threats, physical obstruction, or intimidation to interfere with someone's exercise of religious freedom at a place of worship. The law also protects access to reproductive health clinics, includes houses of worship. Conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. 241. Reconstruction era civil rights statute originally was aimed at groups like the Ku Klux Klan, but allegedly conspiring to deprive congregants of their First Amendment right to freely exercise religion. And this ties into what you said, Jeff, is like when you're impeding somebody else's right, and saying, well, it's somebody else's right to be able to exercise their religion and congregate. That's what it was. And a lot of what I think got him in trouble was what Patrick Bet-David did say was that he was talking to him, seemed like he was part of them. Yeah, he goes in and asking questions, but this isn't Don Lemon from CNN. This is Don Lemon, who has a failed YouTube channel, who anybody who pays any mind to him, who was basically let go from CNN for poor ratings. We need a Don Lemon. Nobody watches his stuff. It's like he's not like he's the number one, broadcast. He's no Tucker Carlson. And I'm not, and I think the press should be free, but you got to have bounds. You got to have boundaries. I just think, to me personally, it was a bad look.
Yeah, it was definitely
it's just you don't get anything from it. You get a lot of negative press and this and that, but then the other side of it is, well, why would you arrest the other protesters, which nobody's complaining about? Did you notice the protesters? There's nobody's now. They're trying to basically separate Lemon as journalist, even though he was basically in a way conspiring with the protesters. And protesters now. Nobody's talking about this fact is the reason they broke into someone's church while a service was going on was because they thought that the pastor was an ICE agent. I'm sorry, man. We can't help your mental illness. Why would a pastor, why would any religious figure, leader be an ICE agent? Okay. I mean, does that even make any sense? Like the basic premise of why they went in there and they were harassing him, calling him an ICE agent, harassing the prison, yelling at these people were scared, man. If you look on their faces, like they just busted in. Well, they should have just left, but I think they were scared, intimidation and stuff. But again, my personal, it's just a bad look all the way around. I don't think it was something that was necessary, but I'll watch the rest of this clip here.
Lawsuits against the New York Times, Paramount, ABC. There is a theme.
Valid ones.
Well, we could argue that. There is a theme here. And the theme is, if you're a journalist, you could get arrested. They could get a search warrant for your home to find out about your sources.
I don't like that.
There is a theme that ultimately is undercutting the First Amendment.
Don lied afterwards. I don't know who he was sitting down with. He was sitting down with the same lady that said she wanted to see somebody get killed. I don't know what the lady's name is. It's not Kara Swisher. It was a different lady. She went viral the day before. He said, I didn't meet these guys. I didn't know what they were doing. If that is what he said, and he kind of got himself in trouble with this. But for us to see journalists getting arrested and all this stuff, I do not want to go in this. This is not good for America. But Don Lemon screwed up here, in my opinion.
Don Lemon has made it bad for everybody else. One bad seed. It's always the bad seed, right? There's one bad seed that creates all this havoc and then all the attention, but now they're going to label it, for all the journalists. Not every journalist is going to impede on a church service and getting in people's faces, because there's also decorum. Just because you're a journalist doesn't give you free rein. And I think that's what has to be learned from it. You can't just hold the journalist title and not expect repercussion if you do something that's illegal or an infringement like this. And now he's siding with the left, and we know he's on their side anyways to begin with. He wasn't just documenting it, and he gets caught up, and he might have got caught up in the fray, or he was plotting and planning, because it looked like, from the videos. But it's got to go to court at this point. The guy put him in that spot, and that's it. That's true. There are no true journalists anymore. There are very few. And you see, some of the citizen journalists out there that are trying to collect information and do all that. But it's not like it used to be, when people would report on the news and, try to give information. You digest it. Here's what happened. Here's kind of the fact of the situation. You digest it. But
no, that's Jeff. Here's watch the video of journalist Don Lemon's unprecedented arrest. Just kidding. This is actually an independent journalist, Steve Baker, handcuffed by Biden's weaponized FBI for daring to report on J6. Where's the media outrage then?
A report on it, not infringe on any property.
Right. Exactly. They weren't infringing. They weren't getting people's face. This is like how they turn it all the time, dude.
Yeah. Now, if it's on public property, If you're outside on the street, you can film, you can do whatever you want. If you see a public official, you can go over to them, you can ask them questions, you can do whatever you want. They're on public property. You know, you see a lot of these auditors going to government buildings. They'll go to police stations, and they'll go and do a vehicle audit, and you'll see different things that unfold. There's that other Caitlin, I forget the girl's name, but she does her videos, and she was actually at a farmer's market up in Lakeland and then Winter Garden, and they tried to kick her out of the farmer's market because she was asking people questions, and they said, this is private property. She said, where are we? Is this public? And they're like, no, this is public property. But they're using the space for the farmer's market. Said, yeah, but they're not renting. It's still public property. It's not private property just because they have a farmer's market going on. And they strong-armed her. They brought a bunch of security guards and then the police. And then she ended up at Lakeland. She sued them for a huge sum of money and won. And then she went after Winter Garden. The lawyers got involved that same day, and she was back at the farmer's market the following day, because that's the distinction, right? That's public property. You go into a church, that's private property, and you can't impede. And that's where, you know, imagine you go into a mosque, all right? Don Lemon wouldn't go to a mosque in Minnesota, right? Now, you wouldn't see that happen, because the moment you do that, then all of a sudden, you know, it's going to be chaos. The whole narrative from the left would be chaos. But the fact that they were arresting people, you know, after, you know, if associated with the J6, and all they talk about was that as an insurrection. The real insurrection happened in 2020 when they defrauded the American people from their votes. That was an insurrection. What we're seeing happen in Minnesota right now, that's an insurrection. When you have elected officials, a governor and a mayor, coming out and saying they will not abide by federal law, and they won't abide by federal agents, and they won't put their police to defend their own people on the streets, and they're doing it to protect illegal people here that have potentially even been voting illegally, and the level of fraud and the billions of dollars that have been funneled through that state.
Last night,
and they're going to come out and do that. To me, that's an insurrection.
100%. Here's Don Lemon's statement right here.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last
breaking into churches, violating the FACE Act, just saying.
30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. Not really. I really don't care, to be honest with you. I'm with Patrick Bet David. It's like, you know what, man? There's a lot of things that are way more important than to be worried about Don Lemon, who's got zero audience. And one of the clips I was watching, Jeff, I was previewing it to see if it was good to download. He was talking to that leftist nutjob podcaster, and he goes, you know, because I was a journalist, is what he said. I was like, was a journalist? Okay, so you're no longer a journalist. You're a disruptor. You're a guy that gets in people's faces and, you know, just basically attacks them, right? Something I wanted to put up. This is Kevin Warsh. He's nominated for the Fed chair, and then someone pulled this clip of him, which is interesting.
You made reference to Bitcoin, and
that's the new Fed chair. It's so funny. I'm like, it's weird that you have a Fed chair that has a haircut from 1974, but that's okay. I'm not really too worried about that. I'm more worried about the policy. But I was just like, oh, okay, so like, this might be from 1974. Who knows?
thought I heard a little bit of condescension that people are buying Bitcoin and these things.
But doesn't it? Charlie Munger, this is 2 or 3 years before he died. Charlie Munger attacked Bitcoin. He called it evil, in part because it would begin to
He's wearing Bitcoin orange tie.
undermine the Fed's ability to manage the economy.
Or it could provide market discipline. Or it could tell the world that things need to be fixed.
Bitcoin does not make you nervous.
Bitcoin does not make me nervous. I can hearken back to a dinner I had here in 2011 with someone who is another guest on your show. I won't say his name.
Please do. Please say it.
Okay, I just did Mark Andreessen, who showed me the white paper. That was the original white paper. I wish I had understood as clearly as he did how transformative Bitcoin.
Let me translate what he just said. Mark Andreessen showed me early days the Satoshi white paper, and I missed the buy signal, and I wouldn't be here talking to your stupid ass because I'd have, $40 million in the bank right now. That's what he's really saying right there.
Some kind of island somewhere.
I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't know how it would be transformative.
Bitcoin and this new technology would be. Bitcoin doesn't trouble me. I think of it as an important asset that can help inform policymakers when they're doing things right and wrong. It is not a substitute to the dollar. I think it can often be a very good policeman for policy.
So he's just very pro Bitcoin. There's a reason this guy was chosen, right? And as soon as you get that other wackadoodle partisan hack, they go, we need an independent voice to Fed. Well, great. I would love to have an independent voice, but we got a partisan hack, old dude that you remember right before the election, he basically went ahead and dropped the interest rate. Remember that, Jeff? Before an election with 9.4% inflation. So this is a partisan hack all the way. And it's like, you know what? This is a guy that needs to go to prison because he testified before Congress. He lied about everything. Oh, no, we're not building that. Oh, no. Why do they need restaurants? Why does the Federal Reserve, which is a basic shakedown, mafia-run organization built upon debt and stealing, the sovereignty from Americans, why is this organization building these luxurious offices on the back? And it's like $2 billion over budget. Say what you will about Trump. Trump is a builder. All the money for this new part of the White House that's being built, all done with private funds, and it's all on budget and it's all on time. So if he knows how to do anything, he knows how to build. Why is this $2, $3, $4 billion over budget or whatever it was? I'm not sure if I'm getting the number right, but it's just exorbitant overrunning costs. And then about everything. It's like when you are testifying, you are under oath. And if you lie, go ahead, get discovery, find out what this wackadoodle did. I'm all for bringing him in. If you want to sit there and lie about it, you ask real simple questions and you lied about it. So this guy's out in May. Kevin Warsh, the Democrats are going to hold their, try to confirm a guy like this. You're going to need a Fed chair, try to draw it out so Powell can stay on. But Powell's gone. Another jackass, loser.
Another wacko. Dean Robinson said, guys, I'm up here in Minnesota and not one thing you've said is wrong. Thanks for the straightforward, honest take from Florida. There you go. That's right. Everything we said was 100%.
I like when we say everything is right, but every once in a while we do miss things. But and don't worry, people will call us out. But I do. Yeah, I mean, it's BG's living in South Florida. Yeah, he was. Well, he used to have a place in Miami. I knew he used to live next to Lenny Kravitz. I think that's how he ended up doing the what do you call it? The party up there. Yeah. But the Federal Reserve is just a shakedown. I think if I'm reading between the lines, Trump's trying to basically he'll take the Fed, pull it into the Treasury. The Fed has got to go away. And people want to always reference the framers. The framers did not want a central bank. They rallied against it. We got rid of two central banks. This one since 1913, and then Trump brings the tariffs back as how the country used to be funded. I'm telling you that if he can make it work so people making $100,000 or less or $150,000 or less don't have to pay federal tax, and everything you make you keep, unless you live in California, you got to give up 13% of that. But on top of what the federal tax is, I'm telling you that's a new day in America. And no president since we dropped the gold standard has even attempted something like this. Now, will he do it? I don't know. It's a bold statement. Will he be able to pull it off? I don't know. But what has to be pulled off is you got to get rid of the Fed. The Fed is an absolute shakedown, garbage organization. It's so bloated. We've never audited the Fed. Do you think in our federal government, all the fraud that was found, they're estimating 1/3 or more of the actual budget for years has been fraud? You had a machine that was just sitting there printing money and sending payments. There's no ledger. It was just going. And then Elon Musk shut it down. You got the Democrats, you can't do this, and the fraud and U.S. aid, and it's saving children, and children are dying. Well, where are they? What children? What country? And if they donated money to these orgs, about less than like 3-4% actually ever went to them. So they were getting almost nothing anyway. And it was all being funneled. That's why you put the stuff on the blockchain. You got a chain of command. You're not going to be able to alternate, the ledger because it's blockchain. and you'll find out that chain of command where those payments end up. Another thing that the Democrats don't want, because you've exposed them, and they don't want. They don't want. Look what happened in Virginia. I got that video too. It's just insane, Jeff, to see what is happening left and right. It's just
That's
being.
right. Well, the thing was with that chip is that Trump is playing 3D chess. Everybody else is playing. They're not even playing on a board. They're playing marbles. They don't even understand the board game. Yeah, at least they could be playing checkers, but they haven't even moved to the board game yet. You know, and Trump just outplays them. He's outmaneuvering them at every step. It's so amazing, the stuff that is unfolding even on a global scale. Look at the UN is about to implode. You know, so for the UN to implode, they're appealing to 183 member nations to start paying their dues to the UN because they're going insolvent. Now that's a great thing. The UN hasn't done anything, you know, positive in a long time. Replace it, dismantle most of it. There's a lot of fraud. All that money that pours into the UN. Think about how much wealth is created within the UN, and these guys run around, you know, all these so-called diplomats from all these countries. So it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, on a global scale, Trump is moving pieces around the world, and people don't even realize it. You know, and what's going to happen in Iran right now, and even holding Saudi Arabia to account, because Saudi Arabia, there's conflicting information coming out in the media regarding Saudi Arabia. Somebody from Saudi came out and said that Trump has to fulfill and go after Iran. He said he's going to do it. It'll make it more dangerous in Iran if you don't. So you have to. And then today they came out from Saudi Arabia saying they won't allow U.S. To use their airspace or something along those lines. So there's all this stuff going on, misinformation. And just like the first time around with Iran, said, no, we're not going to do it, not going to do it. And boom, did it. And so now a lot of misinformation. There could be an action over in Iran imminent, you know, somewhere in the near future. And something big's about to happen because of the checker or the chessboard that's being played right now, you know. Oh,
this is great.
It's so funny.
The reverse breakout, XRP breaking out to $1 would be great.
Right.
Then it can work its way to 30 cents. That's one hell of a reverse breakout, man.
That's right.
Hardy and the TMZ crew are getting murdered.
We were talking about checkers, and there's the checkerboard. Do you see that?
Yeah, the checkerboard.
Checkerboard.
Murdered. Checkerboard. Harvey and the TMZ crew lost all credibility. They caught laughing open mics from Charlie Kirk. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They were on air and they were laughing. And then they claimed that
TMZ have credibility.
That's the leftist on their Nobody even cares about these people and these celebrities. They used to have so much clout. Nobody cares. We're all over it. Nobody gives a crap. So this guy beautifully breaks down. I love this channel, his posts over on X, but he breaks down what's going on inside of Virginia. The reason the governor won is she said, I'm going to cut costs for everyone. I'm going to make a living easier. Utopia, beautiful, democracy works for all. Well, here's what happened.
About 2 weeks ago, y'all gave Democrats in Virginia complete control. And in those 2 weeks, not only have they passed more than 50 new taxes, but they've also given themselves a 150% raise. Is this what you voted for? Let me just tell you some of these taxes. So first off, they added additional local sales tax. They added new personal and property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscape equipment. So if you went green instead of using the gas-powered, you're about to pay for it. There's a new employer tax, a new gun and ammo tax, a delivery tax, which will hit you if you use Uber Eats, DoorDash, Amazon, an investment income tax, an event tax, a concert tax, a storage facility tax. So if you have stuff in storage, you got to pay an extra tax for that. A gym membership tax. Can't have y'all getting healthy or anything. A dog walking tax and a dog grooming tax, counseling tax, you know, for those of you that are seeing a therapist. New digital personal property tax. They haven't given us the details on that one. A new car tax, a used car tax. They're adding an additional hotel tax, a dry cleaning tax, a home repair tax, a vehicle repair tax, and to round it all off, statewide speed cameras. And then remember, for all of their efforts, they gave themselves a 150% raise. This is what you get when Democrats have complete power. I hope you enjoy it, Virginia.
I hope it hurts them so bad. I hope they can't get up in the morning without complaining about it. but they'll never put it on them. They'll be like, look, the pain has to be so bad. It's the only way you can rebuild. I don't think Gavin Newsom, he thinks he's going to be the next president. Dude, I don't think he's going to make it to the primary. This guy is in such chaos. I mean, he's a complete nutter, this dude.
Going for
yes,
3
you
more.
will, Mark.
Oh, I'd be taxed. You will be taxed,
Will you have a dog with you? And will you be going to a dog groomer? Because you'll pay 3 taxes on the way over there. It's fantastic. What a great...
You know what's crazy too, Chip, is in New York. New York, they had their series of laws that went through, and one of them is that they have a no speed tolerance. So now the police can pull you over even if you go 1 mile over the speed limit.
Just
1 mile over the speed limit.
Just to mess with
1 to 10 points. 1 to 10 points if you're going 1 mile over the speed limit.
Where's this?
New York, state of New York.
God, it's such overkill, dude. What the hell?
1 mile. Could you imagine if they did that here? Traffic would be at a standstill. First of all, I don't think anyone would abide by it because it's impossible. But I can't imagine it. It's insane. Sidewalk wear and tear tax. That's exact. They will come up with any form of tax just to tax. That's it. And now, my God, it's insane. Newsom is their guy, right? Yeah, Newsom. They're so stupid.
I'm telling you, dude, it's, you know what it was? They started closing the insane asylums because people used to go to the insane asylums. So, Dr. Oz, who's in the Trump administration now, found a bunch of fraud. Now, you got to give this guy a little bit of credit because he's dumb enough to spin it that they knew about the fraud and they were doing something about it, right? So this is how he spins it. Like, there's no shame with this guy. But this is Newsom because they came out and they found these billion-dollar fraud. But Newsom, listen to the way Newsom spins this, Jeff.
Oz. Might have be living in Oz when he went down attacking the Armenian community just a few days ago. A business that's down now 30%. Poor guy, small businessman.
Poor guy.
Running a bakery because he decided to do a little TikTok video or something. Saying they're somehow connected to the mob around hospice. Well, hospice, we've been after that for years and years before Oz.
He's been after it for years and years, Jeff, but the fraud is still there. This is the greatest spin attempt I've ever seen in my life.
Was even on the scene. 2021, we did a moratorium on new hospice program, 280.
5 years ago, and it still didn't get fixed.
We shuttered.
Still nothing.
We've been after this for years and years and years. We want an open hand, not a closed fist.
I love when they throw these euphemisms out. We want an open hand, not a closed fist. What the fuck does that even mean, Jeff?
Absolutely. Are here to be a partner to go after waste, fraud, and abuse. I started something called ODI, Office Digital Innovation. I did not, my mistake, do it with a chainsaw.
Now he's talking about ODI. What does this have to do with the fraud? We were after it for years. It's 2021. Okay, so you fixed it in 21? No.
Had I done that, you would know about it. We just began the Office of Digital Innovation, and we started to begin a process of reforming our procurement and our strategies on technology across the board, but also on the issues of waste, fraud, and abuse. By the way, ODI was a partnership with the Health and Human Service to create the new EBD card, which
I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know why he broke into ODI and what he's talking about. I have no clue, Jeff.
That's the guy who sold me an extended car warranty.
Hey. That's fantastic. The Dodge Dart.
The poster child.
I think he is the poster child.
2 hours in front of the mirror. Just get
Jeff, I really think he is the poster child for that. I don't see anybody else that's, it's insanity. All right, one more here, and we'll go ahead and do the drawing here. But I wanted to show this one because, well, there's 2 of them I got here, Jeff. These are both worth seeing. The whole Petty guy, the guy that was killed, they pitched him. So you got to see him reading. You got to see Pocahontas here, just reading this, and then we'll go into Obama Trump. Here we go. So let's do this. This is her reading her statement with Alex Petty in the background, assaulting the ICE agent's car, and then starts calling him out.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience,
kicks the tail light
compassion, and calm as a steady light within him.
Calls him out.
Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized
Whoever did this is just brilliant. Talking about what a great guy he was with the background narrative
His
collapsing.
familiar stillness and signature calm composure.
Now, it's horrible that this man lost his life.
Should have been arrested.
I'm not making light
He
of
should have
that.
been arrested at that moment. He would have saved his life.
I'm not making light of that, but just why are you inciting violence? Why are you kicking a taillight out? Why are you telling the guy to come get me? Why are you resisting? Like, all of this stuff is like why would you do this? Why do you bring it on yourself? Why are you attempting to do this? And so let's listen to Obama. Now, they cleverly made him look like Trump when he made this statement, Jeff. This is great. This is a real Obama clip. Of course, they gave him the Obama hair, if you guys are listening to the audio podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And often this argument is framed in moral terms. Why should we punish people who are just trying to earn a living? I recognize the sense of compassion that drives this argument. But I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair. It would suggest to those thinking about coming here illegally that there will be no repercussions for such a decision. And this could lead to a surge in more illegal immigration. And it would also ignore the millions of people around the world who are waiting in line to come here legally. Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders and set laws for residency and citizenship. And no matter how decent they are, no matter their reasons, the 11 million who broke these laws should be held accountable.
There you go.
I forgot about that. Obama. Who the hell? Obama? Who's that?
How many people did he deport, by the way? Millions.
Well, yeah, millions. Well, yes and no. One of the things that it looked like it was so high was the same as Biden. So Biden got credit for all these. So if you showed up at the border and you got turned around, it was called deportation. They never came in the country. They were just turned around at the border. And that's how they were able to say that their numbers were big. So they turned around a certain number of people and it looked as though, oh, we deported them. They never even came in the country. So, a little bit of magic with those numbers there, but let's pepper balls to the face.
Oh my God. That hurts.
I want to puke.
Yeah.
Every time I see coming.
Tommy Obama, that's it.
No, I think his time. Trump always mentions his name. I think his time is coming as well. It's
another one.
A little bit. Yes. But it's going to be like whatever side's in, then they'll go prosecute all their enemies, and then the other one will come in, they'll prosecute their enemies, and this and that, and blah 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 blah. It's too much. Trump should do the same exact speech and then say, "Oh, but did you like that? That was Obama." That said all that.
That's Obama's speech, exactly.
Unbelievable. Jeff, let's play that amazing tune again. I got to see that.
Right, here we go. One more time. Here we go. It's not the big boys. All right, here we go.
Hear that? Oh, too late. Small shadow moving through the pond. Blink once, yeah, you just lost time. Laugh in the dark, little teeth go green. You run one step, probably already in. Not big, not loud, don't need that roar. Speed kills clean when it hits that floor. I stay low, heartbeat fast. Last thing you see, flash past. Tick, 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 too close. Snap, 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 oh no. Laugh track, echo in the snow. It's done. Prowlers don't hunt loud, we play games. Circle, you once whisper your name. Tripwire grin, ankle bite clean. Speed so rude, it don't feel mean. Two-face, yeah! Problem bad! Teeth go bad! No regret! You hear giggles, that's the threat! How fast? Very fast! How quiet? Too late! See him coming! Never! See him leave? No trace! Lil Prowler! Step off path, that's your choice. Lasting hurt. That laugh, that voice. Born for battle, made for legend. On the chain is on the chain. Badassery.
That was awesome, man.
Love that.
Some sponge the Trump gave got hell for it. Well, this is the whole thing. It's never what they say. It's just who said it. That's the problem they have. It's like they're just a bunch of Jeff. We have 15 in here, Jeff. I don't know how that happened. 15 people. Can we get it to 20? Who's going to type in Yeti? Yeti, Y-E-T-I, Yeti the Jedi. Here we go. It's here, Jeff. I think that'll be a good place to go.
It's time to go.
Let's go, guys. You ready for this? Let's go. Put the music on, Jeff. Boom.
The question is Zifnab.
Zifnab, are you here? Say I'm here. Say I'm present.
Zifnab is here.
He's right here. Bam. Winner. Chicken dinner.
Zifnab has won. Here's the big one. Does Zifnab
congrats, man.
Have a
oh, man. Congrats, Zif.
Do you have a Zaman wallet?
That's the other question.
Zifnab, do you have a Zaman wallet?
It could be a Joey wallet. It could also be
or a Joey wallet.
Yeah, it could be a Joey wallet. It could also be what's the other wallet I'm thinking about? Just trying to think.
The other one
works too. I think it's Bitfrost 2 works.
Bitfrost.
I think so. I think it does. Anything that can connect to the
Zaman definitely works.
Yeah, so we're gonna need your address, dude. We need your address.
We need your wallet address. Give us your all right, sweet. He is here. Zifnab. We need
I know you're here, dude, but just let us know you're getting your wallet address. Open your if you open up the Zaman wallet, hopefully you have a Zaman, you can do like a Joey wallet or whatever.
No,
but when you open up the Zaman,
yeah. There he goes. Ooh, look at that.
All right, so he's responsive. I like this. This is good. When you open it up, it's
copy and paste your Zaman wallet over here, and we're going to transfer this bad boy over to
click on the green light that says receive, and then you hit copy, and then it'll copy your
yes, he has a Zaman too. Nice.
Beautiful. Let's go, baby. Winner, man. I like to see that. It's the new people winning. This is good. This is good. Fan-freaking-tastic, man.
It was rigged against Charles.
Charles is the winningest in history here. He's still the winningest in 2026 too. I think it's not even that long, and he's already the winningest. You know.
Going to take him to the casino. All right.
Well, Jeff, while you're doing that, I want to remind people, because sometimes people forget they have short-term memory loss. But this is what was before January 20th, 2025. This is what we were dealt with for 4 years.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to foot.
And there it is on the map, Jeff. I don't know if you knew what that was. This is funny because they put all this stuff on maps. Look at that. Okay.
Right.
That's going to be defined in one single word. Here we go.
The foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
There it is.
Foothills of the Himalayas, Jeff.
Foothills of the Himalayas. That's right.
Himalayas. That's where the Yetis are, the foothills of the Himalayas.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine.
I just you see this. Like he's in front of Zelensky.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember this, but he's in front of Zelensky here. And he says he wants to hand it to him. Look at the look on Zelensky's face. This is great.
The president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
President Putin. So now he's going to Ukraine and typing in President Putin in Ukraine.
Minnesota!
Here we go.
Minnesota.
Zifnab, you are about to have your first badass Yeti from the white tribe of Clan Lil Prowlers. It is now yours. You now have him. Badass Yeti number 839. Nice one. Congratulations for winning. Throw in your X handle if you have one as well. That'll be awesome.
Roto. Catch a live episode. Beautiful. Vaccine side effects. There we go. So it's not Minnesota, it's Minnesota.
Minnesota.
There's a Minnesota right there. It's got a little can with
Minnesota.
Freaking Minnesota. Let's see what else we got here.
Minnesota. Angola. I love it.
You know, with you in Angola, a vibrant city.
There's Angola.
Well, we're going to win and we're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean.
What? I love when you see the graphic across the ocean. It's the greatest thing in the world, man. Whoever did this.
It's to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean.
There you go.
Watch a row.
We have plans to build in Angola. Inflation is a worldwide problem right now because of a war in Iraq and the impact on oil and what Russia's doing.
There's Russia. There's Iraq.
Initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi.
President of Egypt, sorry. So he puts Mexico.
We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people.
There's Iran. There's Kiev. And there you go. Thanks. Hearts of the
Your outspokenness and the support of the people of Czechoslovakia.
The
sky is the limit.
Funny Czechoslovakia. Yeah. Let's see. You caught 3-4 decades in the past there, Joe.
I mean, it is limitless. There's no reason the nation of Africa.
The nation of Africa. On the map, they're erasing all the boundaries and just making the whole country, the nation of Africa. The nation of Africa, Jeff.
Africa.
Not the continent.
The nation.
Yeah, this is still my favorite one.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
Oh, really? What is it?
I was going to foot.
So Nifnab wins. Winner, man. Love it. Great. Fantastic guys.
Chicken dinner.
God, help the historians fix this perk in the books. Yeah, it's hysterical. Ability of his political career, started making it public towards the end. All right, guys, that's it. It's all the time we have. We'll be back on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys are brand new here, give a thumbs up, give a like, give a follow. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get the.
Did we get Zifnab's handle for the for X?
Zifnab did not put his X handle.
Zifnab, put your X handle in there if you have one. If you don't, just say I don't have an X handle.
Yeah, if you don't, but
yeah, I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. The whole thing's gotten weird, and Brady was crying at his thing, and just a lot of passion and built up stuff, man. I mean, just knowing you screwed up, but whatever.
So that's all we got. We are out of here. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square.
Did you say that? I'm pretending I didn't hear that. Okay. See you later, guys. Have a productive weekend. If it's late there, get some sleep. We'll talk to you guys soon. Chip and Jeff out.
Are you down with OTC?
No.
Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.
It didn't. I didn't.
We're still here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
We're live. We're still live.
I know we're still live. I don't know what happened. Let's try it again.
Boom. Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.